I'm going to take you into the second image in this series, which describes a car crash. Now, this is nothing really to do with the physical car crash, even though that's what we're taking a picture of. It's really symbolic for the end of my relationship. It's when things came crashing down and when the new beginning started. One of my favorite figures in symbology is Ganesh. He's the elephant. I'm sure you've seen him in Hindu symbology. And he's the destroyer. And he's a positive guy. He doesn't destroy. He takes away the old and gives birth to the new. And that's really what this picture is. They're going to have this car crash down into a river. Now, this will be the most complex of the pictures that we're going to do retouching wise, because the car is not going to be in the water. We're going to shoot that separately. It's two pieces. We're going to go to the river and try to craft an emotion that is deep, because this will be the heaviest of the pictures emotionally, truly. So it will be set down, pushed back, darker. It will be green in tonality. We're going to go to this beautiful river that sits between mossy trees that falls into the water. So it will be beautiful for where this car crash is going to happen. When it comes to color, as we described for the first image in the series, we're going to use color here too. We have a green forest green background. We have gotten a car that's a bluish teal color that will sit beautifully within that green tone of the trees and forest. And then try to contrast that with the clothing of the girl that we're going to put on the car for one version of it, and then walking through the water for another. Again, the mood is set by color, the mood is set by context, and obviously crashing a car has tons of connotations when it comes to the mood of it. So we just got to follow that. If you want to have a car crash, you got to go with that emotion. If you have an emotional breakup, you got to go with that emotion, and that's what we're going to try to create. So the process starts again with putting pictures to the ideas and thoughts that I have. So in this case, a very simple mood board, only 2 pictures by Merton Marcus, extraordinary fashion photographers. Their aesthetic skews a little dark and obviously to the fashion side, more so than me, which is innately more romantic than they are. So they're only here as a reference for the denseness and mystery of this, and also a little bit to the light quality that we like to bring to it. When it comes to the light quality and the color palette, I want to have a car there that matches with this. So if you have an older car, there's no bigger meaning to this car being old, but for me liking the aesthetic of that. Again, if you think about all the things that you're drawn to, if you pull some references of cars, you would just instinctively pull up some cars that speaks to you. And for me, that's an older generation vehicles. This picture would never be the same for me if it was a brand new Fiat or some Mini Cooper or something sitting in here. For me, it's an older car that has some design to it. And I picked it a lot because of the color. The color of the car matches the color of the background and the mood we want to set. So the last part to this image is obviously the model. Now, I could tell this story in a lot of different ways, and I want you to be conscious of this as well. I could just have the car in there, with smoke coming out of the hood, and that would be it. It would just as beautifully describe this, but I want to add a human element to it. I want to have someone that could tell my story. Now, I don't want it to be me either, or a guy reminiscent of me. I want to have someone that could remind me of the relationship that I have. So I'm choosing to photograph a beautiful girl, giving the story a fashion sense. And that's the last sort of element to this photograph. So we're going to go through the practicalities of making a picture like this happen. Obviously, it starts with finding a location that has the river, that has the space for this event to take place. So I worked with location scouts that has gone out and given me some idea what exists out there. We then will go and do a technical scout so that we go out there with the crew so we know where the sun comes up, again, where it goes down, what the atmosphere is when we get there, pick our angle. That's the first step. Second step will be to get a permit for this place. Location scouts, when they go out, they usually will give you a reference of saying, this is private land, here's the contact info, this is park land, contact these people. So then we call up the park service and we say, hey, we would love to come and shoot at your park. This is so many people, this is the crew size, and this is what we want to do there. For us, they said no smoke machine. They were also curious about the crew size. We're going to walk down to the river's edge. They didn't want too many people down there. So there's some limitations for us when we get to the location, but we're going to work with that. And maybe we get a ranger that's pretty nice to us and let us fire up the smoke machine anyway. I think it's quite important to create that mood when we get down in there, to have some smoke coming between the trees as if it was the car smoking, or just having some atmosphere. So we're going to work on getting that in there. So that's the first part. We found the location, we got our permit, and that part's taken care of. The second part obviously is to get the car in there. And as mentioned, we can't just crash a car into this river in the park, so we'll do that in a separate piece. It's fairly easy to find vehicles like this in California because it's so set up for movie production. You can do some Google searches and you'll find tons of cars. For you, if you're in the secondary market, just go to a used car shop, find a car you like. I'm sure they will be willing to help you out. One thing that's important for me in this is that the car get lifted up in the back end so that we get a little bit of gravity on the front wheels. For the car to just sit there and us turning it in Photoshop will not allow it to feel like it's tilted forward, sitting downhill into a river. So we have talked to these guys. They said they will jack up the back for us and we will get that sense of gravity. It would also help when we have a model sitting on the hood of the car. That's one of the things I'm thinking of, that she too get that sense of gravity coming, leaning back on the car. So that's the second element for us. Another important element to this, as other pictures, is the crew. Coming with us to both locations is hair and makeup and styling. We have 3 assistants to help out. It's important to think about this stuff. I could go somewhere and shoot a landscape on my own. I could go and shoot a landscape with one person, but coming into a river like this where I want to create a really muted palette and atmosphere, we've gotten some extra hands. The reason for these extra hands on set for this particular shot is the mood that I decided to create. We're going to start early in the morning and we're going to shoot before the sun comes up the background plate, but that's a little too dark, right, for having a woman walking through the water. So when the sun comes a little higher, we'll start shooting the model. Now, we don't want sun on her. I don't want this to feel like a sunny, beautiful walk, you know, along this river. This needs to feel mystical and a little gritty, and it's obviously emotional when someone has crashed and they come walking through the water. Maybe the dress is a little wet and there's a grittiness to it. So if we're there and the sun comes up, I want to fly these big silks up that will cut the sun away and put her into shadow. That will allow me to shoot the background plate early on and then continue shooting the model even if the sun has come up. Because I can always cut the model out, put her into its own native landscape. It won't really be a composite there, it's just sort of blending the two together. Shadow shot from early in the morning, her in shadow in the same place, and we blend the two. Obviously we'll talk about this when we get to location and I explain that further, but we need to be prepared for the light qualities that will happen, and that's why we're going to have a few extra people for this particular shot. There's a few other elements that's just details to this, but it's important to think of. We're going to put a car into water, and I can't bring water to the car, not at the levels that I want it. So what we've done is to get a car door, similar color to this, so I could stick this car door into the water. So then when the water hits metal and you get sort of that bubbly resistance of the water, I could photograph this and in post apply that on top of the car. So I get those transitions between what's in the background and what's in the foreground. The car won't have water rushing against it, but this car door will have it. And then I can multiply that metal along the edge of the car and it will feel seamless when I compose these together. We might have a car wheel there as well, so we get wet rubber coming up against it. Again, that water pushing, bending around it. Those little elements are what's going to make this composite real. So I'm thinking about that up front, making sure that I capture this on the location. Small little thing maybe, but when you go to a river, don't show up in your small little jogging shoes. We're going to bring waders. That will allow me to stand in the middle of the river if I want to, if that's my picture. It will allow me to stand with water up to here and still be able to capture the pieces that I need to. So those are the small things I think about when I head out to a location like this. The very last thing is equipment. We will bring strobes in this. It will be subtle. I like to have a natural sort of muted palette, but maybe we'll have a kicker to highlight the person again. I like the atmosphere that's been created in these. It's a little too heavy for me on the strobe, so ours will be a little bit more subtle, but I plan on using a light or two to highlight the person in this. The camera will be a Canon. Now, I mentioned, you know, for the first picture that we would maybe use the Contax because it's quieter. Here, if I'm going to have a woman walking through the water and there's water dripping and stuff, the medium format cameras just get too slow. I want to be able to shoot a lot faster, also using higher ISO. So my appropriate tool for this will be a Canon 5D, which is my preference for the 35mm systems. So I think that sets us up for all the things that we need to make this a successful shoot. We got the car, we got the location, we got the model, we got the crew. I think we thought about everything to be well prepared to head out and create a beautiful picture. Here we are at beautiful St. P. Taylor Park, and I'm pretty excited. We're tech scouting this place, and as I explained, the tech scout is really just for me to know where the sun comes up, where it goes down, where I want to take my picture, and what I need to make this picture happen. Big composite piece here in that we're going to use this car crashing down the side of the vegetation here and into the river. So I'm just looking for how the light falls. I want this to be in shade, which is beautiful for this. I want the color palette to be muted green. Green it obviously is, but that muted sort of tone to it. We might strobe the girl to have a little highlight to give her some kicks so she stands out. Also, she's going to have a warmer colored dress, working color, green versus red. So I'm just sort of walking around to see if I can find that perfect spot that will accommodate the girl, the car, and also have beautiful vegetation around it. I love some of these places where the trees are falling into the river. Makes it a little bit more dramatic, as if the car like pulled that stuff with them or something. So we're gonna walk around, check it out, and be prepared. So we want to create this atmosphere in this picture of a journey ending or some part of life crashing, not happening the way you want it. That's kind of my internal story. So with that comes a set of atmosphere, right? This place is so beautiful, but this event is not meant to be beautiful. It's meant to be almost like Ganesh, the destroyer that resets life and restarts life in some ways. And if you don't know who Ganesh is, you have to look at Hindu symbolism. It's just absolutely beautiful. But that's kind of what we're doing with this picture. So I wanted to have the smoke machine in here to really create some atmosphere, get it floating along the water and get it in the trees, maybe get some steam from the engine. But the ranger that we got the permit from was really reluctant and didn't want to let us use it. So I'm excited about getting here on our shoot day to see if we can maybe sweet talk him into letting us fire that up anyway. It's a non-toxic, water-based, so hopefully he will let us, puff a little smoke in here to create that atmosphere that we're looking for. If not, I'm just going to push the palette really muted so that we get that tangible muted quality, splash some water. We have a car door that I'm going to bring in here, and I'm going to put it in the river and just shoot some elements as if water is coming onto the car. When you put something with resistance in the water, like these rocks behind me, you always get these splashes, right? So I'm going to recreate that for parts and pieces. So put that in there so that it feels like the water is pushing up against the car in parts of the car. So we're going to capture those elements as well. So I think that will help put the car really in here, even though we have a smoke machine or not. So that's my thoughts on that. So we've been here almost an hour walking along this river. I found a couple of places that I really feel work. It has room for the car, has room for the girl to come along the water, has beautiful textures and trees coming in. So I feel really good about this. We're going to show up here in the morning at 6 o'clock prior to the sun coming up, and we will have that moody quality that I talked about. Can't stress enough the importance of being prepared. To create this picture thinking I'm just going to show up here in the morning with everyone, you wouldn't be able to find the image, and you wouldn't be as prepared as you would be coming here a day before, knowing where the light is and how the shapes are, seeing it in daylight. So just want to stress that being prepared is half the job, and then when you get there you have a mental image in your mind, and it's really just for you then to orchestrate all the parts and pieces and all the people to come together to help you fulfill your vision. So it's time to shoot a car crash image, and we've done a little walkthrough. We've gotten approval from the ranger on the spots where we wanted to be that we looked at the other day. We had kind of an interesting morning in that we had some equipment missing. I think the contractors might have taken some of our gear, but we're trying to rectify that, heading out to get a new generator so we can maybe get that going down here and puff a little smoke in there and create that atmosphere that I talked about in the pre-production to this. We have a beautiful overcast foggy morning, which will help us out a lot. What I thought we would do was to come in here early before the sun came up, and then if we had to put the silks across, but now we have a silk in the sky in the overcast day, so we're just going to add a little strobe to her, and then that's it. We've also had a quick little chat with the hair and makeup and wardrobe about the story and what we want the girl to feel like. Obviously she's not all just pretty and dolled up. She has crashed her car. You know, there's got to be something there that shows that she's disheveled, distressed, you know, coming there towards the camera. So we're going to glisten her up a bit, maybe get some dirt. We're having several dresses. One option is for this scene right here is she's going to walk through the water. Then we're going to shoot the car later today. She's going to be sitting on it. So we have different outfits for this. So we're going to mix and match a little bit. What we're using here is a dress that we could actually get dirty and, you know, tear up a little bit, make a little dirty. So that's sort of our agenda for this morning. I think everything is here. Now it's just to get this thing going and create something good. Cool. And then come forward. You're going to do it behind this, in front of this tree as well. Okay, that's cool, Adrian. A little bit further to the camera right. Yeah. Cool, higher. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. So the reason for us putting this white cardboard behind these trees is that we want the car to go there, and it's going to be hard to cut out leaf by leaf if I want to lay the car behind it. So we're putting the white there so I can make an easy selection and mask the tree out, and then sort of insert the car behind it. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And we're going to be doing this several times today as the light changes a bit. But that's the process of helping me knowing first where the car is, and then also helping us to place the car beautifully into the trees. So I think I'm ready for some test shots of her. 7:42. Do you want to go get our lovely lady?
Yes.
And do some test shots? So we're getting pretty close. All the crew is down here, and we're getting to the part where I really start crafting the pictures. This is the part I truly, truly enjoy when you get the talent on set, and we've created a backplate, we've done some parts and pieces, and now it's really getting into the nitty gritty of it, getting the emotions, the talent, all that stuff that really makes for the photograph. Okay, so let me see. I have another tripod. Adrian, do you see a tape measure over there, or did Mike take that with him? Okay, that's okay. It goes right on my belt buckle. All right, so for camera settings, we're at ISO 320. We're at fifth of a second at f9. And you know, there's a balance there. The leaves are moving a little bit, so I don't want to go too long exposures, but I also want the depth of field, you know, to hold her as she comes walking to me. The focus is right at the water's edge, and I want her to sort of start midway there and come walking towards me. So that's where I'm at, trying to give myself that depth of field so that I have some sharp space between foreground and background where I could put her in. This will be a little bit more fluid when it comes to the composite. She won't be static, she will be walking. So it's important for me to have some depth of field. So as I say this, I might actually do a little sharper frames here. We'll go down to maybe a second. Hopefully the leaves will be still enough. And we go f16. And with a wide lens, that should give me enough depth of field to put her beautifully in there. Awesome. I'm gonna do a composite plate. So I want to measure this, and then I'm going to go down the, just to make sure we got it.
Yeah, 50.
50. Are you going to be okay walking in the water?
I'll make it work.
If you get too cold, let us know. Do you want sandals?
No, it's okay.
Are you sure?
Thanks.
Cool. Right in there, so the shallow sandbar that's here, just start 6-7 feet in, and then you come walking. Before you step in, hang on, let's do a light test. Maybe we can just get someone standing here so at least we know the exposures and all that stuff before you get in. And
I'll run it again, okay?
I'd probably go handheld on this, to be honest, because I'm going to follow her.
Okay.
So, oh wow, that's way too much power, Adrian. Take that.
All the way down.
Okay, let's.
Angle it off.
Okay, so try to feather it in that way and see what happens. Animeki? Anamika.
Yeah.
That sounds better. Anamika. All right. Good nail polish on the toes. Oh, nice and warm. Take a deep breath, just embrace it. Easy for me to say, right? Keep on going. Right about there. How is it?
It's hurting a little. I think I just have to get numb for a second. The initial pain.
You know, I think you should just use it, right? So think about that pain and how it's painful and just try to channel it into the expressions, right, of the car crash. So you could use that in the way that you act this out. Do we like the jacket? You want to do it with that? Okay.
And then maybe we put
She's
her
more
down.
fragile with it off.
Yeah,
Ah,
And I put her hair
feather
up.
it that way, the light.
She's more fragile with her hair up. But I'm happy
Yeah.
it's
And I
like
will
that.
shoot it up a bit too. No, just tilt it up a little bit from where you were. So I wouldn't look in the camera, just look off this way. Small step that way, and then you walked all the way towards France here. She's your target. And you got to try to put your mind to it, yeah? So the body yes.
Okay.
Body language and everything.
Where's the car?
It's behind you.
Okay.
Yeah, so the story is that you're leaving the car, getting out of it, right? And you're coming this way. Beautiful.
I'm living in the car?
No, you just crashed it.
Oh, leaving.
Yeah.
You're even kind of limping a little bit.
Yeah. Anything that you could do to sort of just put your mind to the car crash. And to give you the broader picture, it's kind of a love story. We're going to do another picture where people are talking together in a room. The next scene is this, where you sort of taken off, escaped, crashed, you're coming out of the car. So you can bring all that to it. Think about some heartbreak or something, right, on top of being car crashed, and see if you could just take a deep breath and then just go.
Am I like running? Or
Try to, it's a little bit dark yet, so try to just walk fast or walk, whatever you think it is actually. But you're not escaping, right? You're more sort of distressed almost. Okay? And go. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful, well done. Yeah, it's overlit, guys. It can't be on her. You got to feather off.
I'm gonna grab the second head and dump it.
Okay. And try to step 2 steps back too, Adrian. You're doing beautiful though, well done. I think you should scruff her up a little bit. Should we put the jacket on her?
Eric, is that light better?
It was better, for sure. Do you want to smudge her up a little bit?
Yeah, you ready?
Ready.
Once we start,
We can't go back.
back a little bit.
I wonder what would happen if I just shot it natural light.
Do what?
I wonder what would happen if I just...
Just go back.
So this is going to be the side you're going to
I'll try one run natural light too. But let's put the ND on there, right? So we're prepared.
That's okay. Look, put good.
This is the side where she hit. Yeah, so maybe even like
So
in
more
here
on
a
this
little
side.
bit.
Well done. Looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
In here.
Do you want to put the jacket on her? Yes.
This is the side you're
They're crazy cold.
Which one?
I don't know if we're going to see it if the jacket's on. So maybe her chest a little bit more. Nice, you guys.
Well done.
You want to make it, can you turn to me and look a little bit? Yeah, that's better.
I think it's gonna shoot the card. So it can be a little bit vulnerable. It will dump everywhere.
Okay. Who should she put in there?
This one's straight.
I'll turn this off for now. So as you walk, don't drop the fur, but it's halfway on, halfway off, and you try to pull it on yourself. And
Be holding on to it
Yeah.
with more
Yeah.
hands, yeah. You're in shock. You were just in an accident.
Disoriented.
Yeah.
disoriented. Wow. Beautiful. I wonder if you just shoot it natural light.
Natural?
I'll turn it off. So I'm going to try one natural light. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. More. That's good, that's good. I think that's nice. If you overdo it, it might just trickle up the dress, right? And suddenly we got... It's kind of nice.
Just strobe on it?
It's strobe on it, yeah. Big time. That's natural light. It's prettier, huh? All right, ready? No acting here. You look at all the shell already. All right, ready? France, come this way. Let's give her an eye line. So you're heading straight for France.
Where do you want me?
Right there. Okay, and take a deep breath. And action. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Again. I would take it a little slower this time. So think theater acting versus movie acting. Theater acting is they're down on their knees and they go, oh! So a little bit more subtle. Otherwise it was perfect. Hey Mike, give me the other lens, 2470. I think it's just sharper than that one. All right, you're on. Put your mind to it and action. Beautiful. Wow. Amazing. Again. When you get too cold, let me know. Until that time, you're just going to keep on shooting. Wow. And as you do this, now try to fix your eye down the river.
Okay.
So you're looking this way, so I get a little bit more light into your face. Mike, can we get the Scrim Gym down here? We'll try that instead of the... Okay, hang on, Adrian, let's just try really subtle with the strobe. One round. Okay, and just shoot it straight across so it bleeds off. Okay, ready? And action. Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Wow, amazing. Again, no, don't be sorry. All that stuff is good. It's real. Wow. Do it. It is just beautiful. I don't think we need any light here. Ah. All right. Again. And just fill your heart with, I don't know, heartbreak or sadness, someone you lost, family or accidents you could think of that just brings that sadness in there. And then you take a deep breath and you go. I love it. It should look disheveled. You could try to put it on, you know, with the other hand too. Oh, careful with the water. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Try one round with the wizard. Now, Mike, that I feel pretty good here, we could try to shoot the card next time too. Yeah. Okay. All right, ready? And put your mind to it. And action. Wow.
Yeah, that's better with that on one.
Beautiful. I love it. Again. Wow.
Ooh, yummy.
I think it's beautiful.
Oh my God. Mm.
I mean, this is only for her, right? But,
Wow.
right? I'm really happy.
Yeah, I love her expression.
God, those
Great
cheekbones.
expression.
Good job, Anna. Great.
And Mika, it's lovely.
Amazing.
Was this last round with strobe or no? No. I'm just going to keep on shooting natural light. I don't want to mess with a good thing here. All right. Lovely. I'm going to come a little closer. Bring the computer closer to Mike. Oh. Beautiful. And action. Wow. I love it. Again, now just do rounds. Don't think about me as much. Just stay in the mindset. Go back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, those colors really pop against the darkness.
Yeah. Wow. You're doing amazing again. I'm a little low, ain't I? Just give me a 52 to double check.
You're at 40.
Okay. 40? A couple more times and we'll give you a break. That's beautiful.
Oh my god.
Wow. Amazing. Again. Are they coming in or what? I'm completely unsharp, ain't I?
Not sharp.
Yeah, it's just small too. I like it.
Yeah, I love this on the back too.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, damn. Camera's busy, busy, busy. Last one for now. Look at that. I cropped her off, huh? Yeah. I can't. It just says busy, so.
Okay.
Am I caught up? How many?
Still coming in.
Her face expression is so perfect.
No,
What's up?
I don't think we need to dirty her up anymore. I think it's fine. Move your arm a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. That's amazing. Amazing. You're amazing. Do you want to warm up for a minute?
Yes.
Thank you. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Will you grab that other towel, honey?
Stay cold.
I know, see
Yeah,
how
here.
all
Yeah.
the colors pop.
Let me see.
Sit down on the white, and then you can wrap this around you.
I'm getting back in the water, right?
Yeah.
Right now?
Okay.
No, not right now. I want you. If you want to keep on
I
going.
was gonna say it hurts the most to be coming back to body temperature and then having to go into
back
numb
in, of
again. So I
course.
would rather stay with my feet.
All right. So let's shoot then.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If you're okay with it, I'm happy to shoot.
Beautiful.
It is, yeah. Imagine getting the car back there and stuff. I'm so excited.
A lot of details there.
Oh yeah, it's all there, huh? We're gonna come a little closer even, like. All right, whenever you're ready, just take a deep breath again, put your heart to disheveledness, sorrow, just find that one thing you could think of that bring you there. And whenever you're ready, just start walking. Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Amazing. And again, let me see, Mike.
It's not really coming off on there. I think we need actual dirt, babe.
Yeah.
It's not showing.
Should we get some reflector on? Let's try one with strobe again.
It's been good time.
Okay, and just feather it off a lot.
There you go. Oh my
This will be down a lot. We've got 2 stops in B and we're jumping ahead.
Okay, give us one more. Fantastic.
I would love one of the straps to come off if you can. You tape that thing, yeah? So the strap just leans off. And, yeah. Look at this frame here. There's one that I marked that was just
You had the scrim jam
Oh, here, look
still?
at this one.
So good. Oh my
Oh,
god.
it keep jumping because they keep coming in, but
Wow.
it's beautiful,
I
huh?
love it, yeah.
I'm really happy, right?
She came, that's for sure.
Anna Mika, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
Makes it easy to be in the moment when I'm freaking.
Yeah, so I would just embrace that, right? Just think, oh, I'm f***ing cold, it hurts, it's painful. So just use that pain to create those expressions.
Flash us your dirty shoulder.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I'll turn it on in a minute. Amazing, again. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. It's subtle, but it's there. I would take it up a tiny bit, a third maybe.
Third. Set.
Thank you, sir. Beautiful. Just stand right there for a minute and look out this way. Wow.
Check the level there.
Hold it for a minute. Just waiting for the computer to catch up. Yeah, hold it right there. It's beautiful. Come a little bit more frontal, Mike. Beautiful. Nice. Go back in the water. Lovely.
I'll stay frontal.
Yeah. See this last one? Yeah, amazing.
This is the entire morning.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get the smoke in there as soon as she gets here.
Oh, the smoke is going to be crazy.
And action. Oh, amazing. Anna Mika, it's beautiful. You want to see?
Look like I'm in pain. Do you want me to tone down the facial expression?
No, I love it.
Okay.
They're still coming in, but there's some of these in
Gas.
earlier ones in here. I think it's just beautiful.
You want my face to look like that?
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, these are true emotions, right? I love it. I mean, we could do some beauty shots of you afterwards, but this picture really deserves that, you know?
17% on the left.
So we gotta get generator, smoke machine.
Can you charge it?
Yeah, it's in my backpack in the front pocket. Was that Phyllis that just showed up?
Yeah. We're firing. Adrian's firing.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Adrian's done it. Thanks.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow. Have Adrian come over this way too.
Adrian, towards camera, please, with that.
I don't know where it's drifting, but we need power for the computer as well. Can you go even further out for a minute?
Where?
Just 2-3 feet further.
Like this way further or that way further?
Right further, this way further.
This way?
Deeper. Deeper further. All right, turn around. Yeah, look at that. Amazing. Amazing. Let me know when you need a break. Wow. I think we kind of got it. I like it where it was deeper, to be honest. So let's go back there. You're amazing. No, really. Positive encouragement here. I can tell you're freezing, so you're really doing amazing. All right, last one and I'll give you a break. How about that? And go. Take your time there. Beautiful. Wow, wow. Amazing. Just stand right there for a minute. Just right like that. Look at me from there. Nice. A little bit more determined. Just lean into it a bit. Beautiful. Got this way. Lovely.
Ooh, yeah, the hand on your face, that was really pretty.
Okay, break time for you. And Amika, warm up. We're going to shoot some plates with smoke and stuff, get some atmosphere, and then we'll get you back down there in 15-20 minutes. Good job.
Thank you.
It's just beautiful.
Go get in the car or you want to stay down here?
If I can go in the car.
Yes, go to the car. 15 minutes. Yeah, we got plenty longer if you guys need to. So I just gave the model a 5-minute break. I mean, she's doing absolutely extraordinary. Most of the time when you work with people and they're cold, it looks terrible, it doesn't look right, but for this, she's just using that pain in the water and the coldness to channel sort of that disparity. I'm really impressed with this girl. I mean, she's really acting it out, and what we have on the screen shows emotion and despair and all those things that comes to the car crash. I'm kind of giddy. Really makes me excited when you meet people that can express kind of the things that you want to express from here. So I'm going to give her a break. We're going to get the smoke machine in here. We're going to light this on fire. Not literally, obviously, but get some smoke through the trees, especially in the area where the car is. Shoot it straight up there as if it was fuming from the car, a little bit along the water, capture those backplates. Now, you see me shooting her from there and the landscape here. I'm not crazy about these rocks. I'm actually going to walk further down the river and shoot some different rocks in the foreground. So I'm essentially taking her in that water and placing it here. So that's why I'm there for the girl, I'm here for the background. The reason for me being here for the background are these trees here that leads my eye into the car. Over here, there's not that foreground element. So again, I'm mixing and matching to create the best possible picture with what I have. So in this first process here, you saw me shoot some frames with the strobe. It felt too harsh, and the natural light in here is quite beautiful. So I went with that for a while, and then it felt a little deep underneath her eyes. So we got very, very subtle on the strobe, so much that we had to bleed off ahead and put some ND in there to get that strobe low enough to just bleed a little bit underneath her eyes to fill it in. So it's very, very subtle, which I love. Just combining the natural light with a little kick of light from the strobe to lighten up the face a bit. The reason for this having to be so low is that I'm at 1000 ISO. It is dark in here. I need to freeze her action. I'm shooting at 250 at f4 at 1000 ISO. Now, my backplates, I want to shoot a little bit crisper than that, so we're going to go down to about 400 ISO. In post, we'll talk about this, where we will actually add some noise at the top of each of these frames, so that when we blend it, it will have the same noise level. So that's the process. Again, we're going to shoot some backplates, get some smoke in here and make this just rocking. So I haven't really decided where the car is yet. So it will probably be right where you're at in there, yeah. I would go further in though, further in. Yeah. Okay, as far as you guys can. Swing clockwise, Adrian. Swing clockwise. Yeah, and action. That's it, that's it, that's it. Stop it. Oh, I'm blurring it too much. I'm completely blurring it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, let's do it again. You got to go higher up. So Mike, if you can go on the bluff between those trees there. I would go, if you can. It's not, careful though. Do you see the corner? Yeah. So Adrian, you got to come with Mike and then you both go together. There you go. If Mike, you can go on the tip there. All right, Adrian, shoot it up.
Ready?
Ready? Shoot it higher up. Hang on a second though. When this next time we shoot it higher up so it drifts into the trees.
Up into the trees or upstream?
Upstream a little bit so it drifts down into, that's good.
Look how cool it is coming off.
Ready?
Ready? Okay, enough? Yeah, I like that. If you can, that's better. Whew.
Wow.
That's a car crash right there. Let's do it again, but just half the amount this time. Oh, hang on, no, hang on. Let it clear my lens. All right, ready. Step out if you can, Adrian. Yeah, this is nicer, guys, nicer, more subtle. Whew. Wow. Nicely done. So we're going to try it one more time. This time I want you to go further in, further, as far across as we have cord.
Ready?
Ready? Okay, that's enough. Yeah, this is us. Okay, I want to do that again, guys, and with this direction and into the trees, we can take more smoke. This is nice. Okay, let's do it again. And shoot it right there too, along the water. Just little one, and enough. Well done, gentlemen. I'm feeling pretty good. Wow. Let's shoot a few small puffs again. Yeah. Small. Stop, stop, stop. Let's do that further in. I like if that was right off the car, front of the car sort of thing. It would mask my...
Where do you want it?
Further in, same thing. Just go closer to the trees. Come closer to me too a little bit. So if the car is right there, yes.
There?
Yeah. And step out. That one didn't float as much. It was just too tight. One more time like that, but bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah.
More?
Yeah. Good. No, enough, enough, enough. To the ground, Adrian. To the ground. Just right into the water. Oh, no, it's too late though. Let's drift. Oh. Let this drift out. I get excited. Maybe we should get the model. It'd be cool to have her through the smoke a little bit too.
You want me to see if she's ready?
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
We're one model short, no, one assistant short today. That's, keep on coming, keep on coming. Beautiful. And step out. Quick, quick. Nice. I'm going to do a few closer here too. Thank you, Tomas. Yeah, I like this. Okay, let's shoot it. Yeah. There you go, beautiful. And step out. That's my car crash right there. Whew. Nicely done. And now just go in as close as you can and just shoot it up into that tree as if it was like smoke going up. You cold again?
Yeah,
Really?
happens fast.
That's really fast.
Get it?
All right, let's do it again.
Ready?
Yep.
Into the tree? Ready?
Yep.
Off.
Nice. Okay, again. So this time, spray as you walk back. So you shoot up, and then you just walk back and shoot into the water, as if the crash comes on the water and then up in the thingy. Okay, and down and walk out. Down, 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 and walk out. That's it. Beautiful. Woo. All right. Lovely. And we're going to try to get you in there. You ready? You did amazing on the first round. See if you can pretty much do the same this time around. We'll just get some more captures on it and we're done. Okay. How do you feel?
Cold.
All right.
Yeah.
Just the only thing I can say is just try to use that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Same thing into the water at the end.
Let's try.
Into the water.
Yeah. I would do a little bit less this time, to be honest.
A little bit less.
Yes, because she is in it. Hey, let's try just on the water. Just on the water to start. Just right there. It's fine. How do you feel?
Great.
Okay. Miserable, disillusioned, disoriented, wacky. Okay. Take a deep breath. Just put your mind to it. Beautiful. And smoke, please. And action. Step out. Lovely. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Again, I love the hand up, so maybe the hand comes up a little sooner. Adrian, shoot it upstream more. A little less. And I'm going to have her walking through it. You can actually walk back a little bit now, I think.
What's this red thing back there?
I see that.
Is that one of the guys?
Is it?
Yeah. Is it red hat and orange shoes?
Oh, right there. Yeah, I'm going to take those out. Okay. Ready? And oh, hang on. Smoke first. Right there, and it's not enough. Go walk out and go. Beautiful. Wow, look at that. Amazing. Amazing. Wow, beautiful. Again. Little less smoke this time, Adrian. And yeah, start up there. Just start up there, because then it, yes, it won't be as intense. All right, let's try it. Oh, careful. Are you okay? Yeah. I can tell you're swearing out there. Smoke, please. Enough. And go. All right. Just a little tad of smoke, guys. Just a little bit. So when I say enough, I mean stop. Yeah, way too much. Ready? Just a little bit. Okay. And go. Enough. Okay, and action. Beautiful. Wow, all right. Ow. Use it. Yeah, it's painful. Wow. You know, I'm actually going to take away all this stuff here. Yeah, I'm going to use rocks with moss on down there.
So do you want, should we move that stick?
You can move it. Yes. Okay, just a tiny bit of smoke this time, just a little psh. It's just getting too, it's way too smoky. A little bit, and go. That's it. Beautiful. Wow. Better. Oh, careful. Wow, amazing. I did too. Look at that. I think we, look at that.
Adds to her confusion.
I think we got it. Hey Mike, let's bring that strobe more frontal. Let's come to the right of me here.
Okay, you need to turn your with it up.
Oh, it's not on.
We're tuning it.
Fuck, it's beautiful. Yeah, try a little strobe this time. Everything is amazing. We're almost there. I'd say we do 2 or 3 more rounds. She's too far away.
Yeah, she looks so confused.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, tiny bit of smoke, and shoot it up this time. Shoot it behind you, so let it drift down. Just a tiny bit, okay? And action. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. And come. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Whew. Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. Do we have the wind machine, Mike?
Yep.
Is that going to be too much? But do we need a wind machine?
You know what to do with smoke.
Wow, look at
I think that's gorgeous.
It's so beautiful.
that. Okay, no smoke this time, Adrian. We're just going to work with her. Let's kill the No, we need the generator, huh? So, Anamika, whenever you're ready. Oh, wow. Wow, she's amazing. Wow, you're amazing. I think we got it.
Yeah.
What, Megan?
Yes. Wow, look at that one.
Should we do one?
No,
Yeah.
we need it for the laptop. Okay.
Let's try something else with the coat. Maybe take it off the right arm. Let's try something else. There you go. You can't go in the water though. Yeah, like that. Let's try it. And action. Yeah. Wow. Let's see. Let's try to put the coat on your left hand, and then you come up with your right hand. I would turn that strobe up a little bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Come up, what, 2/3?
Huh?
1/3, 2/3?
A third is good enough for now. Wow, so beautiful. Hand up to your face. Oh, wow. Wow. Let's try it again. We'd love to see your right hand come up to your face this time. Yeah. Oh my God, she's beautiful. There she's strong. There she's strong. And let's see if we can get a little bit more energy to it. So you walk a little faster. Not a lot faster, a little bit, but a little bit more intention. And action. Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing. Again.
Yeah, I like the movement of the water getting there.
Yeah.
And this-
Wow. I love her. Too low. Higher.
You got a car door in there.
Yeah. Yeah, see that?
Wow.
Beautiful.
Where's the,
Little slower again, but maybe with an intention in your eyes. So you move slower, but then your head is more determined. As in, it's not so droopy, but you know, a little squint in the eyes maybe, and you look down the river and take a deep breath. And action. Beautiful. Wow. Let's put the jacket on both hands again. Should we try it without it? Or which do you like better?
I haven't seen any without the jacket yet.
Yeah, let's try it with, okay, we'll do one with, and then we'll do one without. Look at her. Wow. Beautiful. Let's do one without the jacket, and I think we're done. And then I want to do a close-up of you.
The Band-Aid's falling off.
Yeah. Wow. Can you go further back that way? Just right behind you? No, backwards for you. Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing too, huh? All right, that's perfect. Wow. Right? Whenever you're ready. Wow, so beautiful. Wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you look great. Yeah. The movement of the dress.
Wow. Look at that.
Oh my god, I'm just grabbing my dress.
Last one, promise. What you did there, grabbing your dress and putting it back on kind of thing, was beautiful. Can I lay her in the water? I kind of want to lay her down in the water. Oh. Are you okay?
You don't need a hand.
She's like, give me a minute.
Don't walk further out though, you're fine. Don't,
Turn around.
don't go where you hurt yourself.
She's like, okay. Do it again. She's a trooper, huh?
It's amazing.
Oh, this is crazy.
Crazy experience.
Wow.
Oh wow. Look at that. The movement of the dress. Beautiful.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you. Well done. This is just for parts and pieces. You can take it further in. Oh. Just move it this way. There you can rest it. Oh, that's so cool. Hold it. Again. Put it in the water.
There's holes in the front and the water sprays out when you pick it up.
That's why it's so heavy.
Okay.
Enough of water.
All right. Pick it up. That's amazing, huh? Whew. Huh. I f***ing love it. Hey, let's kick some water around it. No, just waves. So just push them. Yeah. That's it. It got to be lower though. I want the blue. There you go. Nice. That's moving water around it. Set it down. Set it down in the water.
Down in water?
Yes. So when you lift it up so much, the water edge come on the white when I need it on the blue.
You have to go deeper in the river. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. That's nice. And then move the door around.
Move it around.
Move the door around. Just want some. Yeah. Right, so we're just wrapped up. I'll let everyone go back up to the parking lot and just want to do a recap of what happened today. We started with our background plates. There's two parts to that. There's this part, river, some rocks, and then there's another part down there where we're going to replace the sandbank and get some mossy rocks on the left. Then there's the smoke parts, which will create some atmosphere. I imagine where the car came down, there would be some smoke around the car coming back up through the trees. Then there's the car door. Those are just for me to get elements that I could lay onto the actual car. And then there's the model. I think she just did extraordinary today. She was cold, she used that, you know, to bring forth that emotion of being in despair, crashing. I just thought it was beautiful. I'm really excited. When we did this composite today, we have the lady moving towards camera. And as we talked about before, that I like to shoot a range where my picture is sharp, where I could put her in. It's not just that when you do composites, they're also the volume that a lens gives you. So if something is close, an element is close to camera, it will be distorted and it will feel wider versus when it's further in the frame. So when I did these pictures of her, I tried to work with that concept in that when she's further away, I shoot her with a longer lens, which means less distortion in the body and volume of her. And then as she comes towards camera, I zoom out and she will have the same volume as this lens have where I shoot the background plate. So when you take a 24mm lens and you crop into it, the distortion that happens as you crop in will be less and less and less, more and more similar to what a longer lens would give you. So when I shoot someone coming towards the camera, I would then have a long lens and then I zoom out so that they get more voluminous as they get closer to camera, as they get closer to this camera stance that would shoot the background plate. So I would allow her to become wider and it will fit perfect. Now, I can't just take that wide frame though, where she's close, and put her in the background. It's going to look really strange. If I choose to work with a wide frame of her, 24mm, she has to be up front because she has the volume of being close to camera. I can't take that piece and put it in the background. So now that I have these pieces, I would need to allow her to be in the frame where she was at the time she walked. I can't just take the foreground piece and put it way inside this river. I got to have her close to the camera. So I could talk more about that when we go through the frames in post and we look at all of it. It's important to know though that when I have her walking through, that she should have the same volume as she gets closer to the backplate camera, and she should also be in that space in the background plate where she was when she was walking. That's the technical way to do it. Now you can cheat that obviously a little bit, but you can't cheat it a lot. Then it would look really distorted and weird. So when choosing to bring in a smoke machine, you might ask, why would you do so? Can't we just brush it in Photoshop? And in my experience, smoke is one of the hardest things there is to replicate in Photoshop. Yes, you could create a smoke brush and you could lay it on top and it will be fine as an effect that would sit on top, but not between trees. Smoke also have highlights and shadows and they drift, and that you can't replicate in Photoshop. Photoshop is amazing at assembling pieces. For me, it's not a tool to paint or create these effects. So it's important for me to have the real elements and then use those to combine together to make that effect that I want. As I mentioned, smoke is for atmosphere and also for the steam from the car coming up through the trees. And I don't think we could paint in between the leaves to create that rising steam from a car afterwards. So important for me to have that here. And I'm really happy that this Ranger allowed us to do it. Up front they said no smoke machine, but when we asked they said sure. So I feel pretty good about that today. So the very last thing we're going to do is to take the smoke machine down to those rocks that we're going to use into this frame, get some smoke on them, and then we're done. Then we're going to pack up, go to the garage, shoot a beautiful car that's going to come into this background. So off we go. Here we are in Oakland, California. We have made our way from the park where we shot just beautiful setting this morning. And what we're going to do here this afternoon is to get this car crashed into that water. We got here and car is just perfect. The woman is perfect. You have this beautiful dress. And I started thinking about that story. How did she get to that water? How did she crash? What happened prior to the moment that we were creating? What happens after? I have this key moment that tells my story that I'm inspired by, But then whenever I create pictures, I ask myself what happens before and what happens after. It helps me create a story around it, which makes for cinematic imagery. So in that process, I got really excited. I put the girl in the car and we tried to create some moments there as if she looked out the window, she saw something, got distracted, and that led to that car crash. So we went through that process. I got kind of excited, got some good pictures, and we are expanding the story a little bit, which is a great opportunity to create new and better pictures. So really happy about that. What we've done afterwards is to prepare the car for the composite shot. We jacked it up to get that gravity that I mentioned that I wanted, so the car feels like it's pushing down. The girl that comes out of the car also has that gravity sense to her. We have gotten some foliage from the location this morning that we put onto the car. This so that we can make the composite a lot easier. We took some measurements at location, putting whiteboards behind the foliage that was there. We bring some of that foliage here, and it will be easier to combine the elements. We had some smoke on the water, we're going to have some smoke here, and hopefully then these elements will help bleed the car into that background beautifully. So let me walk you through the lighting scenario for a minute. In all my work, I tried to match the source and the place to the composite piece as the background plate. So the most obvious way to do this would be to put the car outside. Now it's sunny, doesn't have that foggy overhead that we had this morning, so I thought inside would be quite beautiful because here we have the skylights. Now the trees was coming over the river and there was light coming through them, casting sort of dappled shade openness in that ravine. So it kind of stimulates what we have here. We have the skylights above, and I placed the car towards the back, so the fall off from light will be from front to back, just as in the river, it was brighter in the front where the water was, and then denser and darker in the back where the trees were. So I'm trying to mimic that fall off of soft light. So that's why we shaded the skylights with this silk to make it even softer, having that fall off come in. Now we did strobe the lady as well, given a highlight. So this is a little bit more pointed than what we had at the location, but I think that works fine since we're doing the same light setup with the girl, giving her a little bit of kick with that strobe. And here we have a little kick from that little bit harder source of the skylight. So that's the reasoning for taking that inside and working with this composite this way. So before we get going on the shoot, I want to take you through the steps to make a good composite. Now we measure the camera angles, we measure the camera height, we know what lens we have that in the metadata. All those things are important, but we're photographers, we're visual people, and for me, it's not just doing the data on this, it's really important to do it by eye too. So we have taken a quick comp of the background that we shot this morning, have that on the computer, and then we're going to stick the car in there real rough so that we can see that the light quality lines up, that it really fits in there perspective-wise. The hillside comes to an angle like this, so I try to match this with the car, maybe become a little bit more frontal, maybe a little bit more sideways. That depends on where on that hillside that I put the car. So it's important to explore this, have the background plate first, that sets the light, that sets the perspective, and then we match that light and perspective on the car, on the front composite piece. So just want to run you through that, so when you see me work on the computer afterwards, you know that this is what I'm doing. Laying in rough comp, don't look at the composite work on this one, because it's really crude. It's only looking at the perspective and the light quality. So I'm going to match those up. As soon as that's done, we're going to get the girl in there and start shooting. come more frontal. Okay, so Mike, I'm coming more frontal. So that's got to shift this way a tiny bit. Oh, okay. Okay, good, good, good. That might be too much. And let's push the branch in the engine. Just push it backwards. It seems so perfect now. Just pull it. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Here. Okay, so I'm 5 minutes away from the girl. 10 minutes maybe? That's good enough.
Important that she doesn't lean on the car, right?
On the door.
On the door.
She cannot put weight on the door forward.
So do you want her laying down? Like draped all over?
I don't really know where I want her. I just want to see what happens, really. She's... I don't know. See what she does.
Is this pretty secure?
This stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But she can't get inside the car.
She can, but she can't lean on this door.
Okay.
Let's just try it when they're sitting, then have her try to sort of stand up. She could actually stand here because the gravel or the dirt will be here. So she could be like this.
Yeah, and also if we want to maybe have her like lay on her stomach and kind of just across right here, I can put that packing blanket down and drape her dress all over.
Oh, so she's fallen out of the car? Down the hillside a little bit? Ooh, that's something. Yeah, let's try it standing first and then we can try to drape it. Do you want to drape it now? She could stand on that or no?
Yeah.
Because that would actually help my composite.
Okay.
How are you holding up?
Do you want to bring the water this way?
For half an hour, 45 minutes. We're done.
Okay. Where do I go?
So we don't quite know. I want to see how you would do it, but essentially you crashed and you're walking out. What you can't do is put weight on this door forward. It will come off. So you got to leave the door alone. But for that,
Shoes off?
shoes off would be nice.
Shoes on, you said?
Off? Yeah.
Like no shoes, right?
Yeah.
So I would try to sit here and then you sort of stand up as if you're coming out. And we'll see. Maybe we'll have you sort of lay right here or something too. I don't know.
When you step out, you don't want to step out at its angle because this thing might shoot out from underneath you.
Like, I'll
Yeah.
probably just stand up there, right?
Yeah. That's good.
Good idea.
Good idea. Okay. Oh, let's try this thing. And the emotions are the same as this morning. Obviously now you're in the
Wait,
crash.
is that them right there?
No, no. No, you know what? It's only for the reflection of the light right here. So it's perfect. I love it.
Is this you?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, they want her to be funny.
Such a good job, Christine.
Help button the nose up? Yeah, fantastic.
You know, they don't have to be, I mean, just disheveled and a little
You can
funky,
also have like one on, one off.
right? Or just pull one down at least or something.
Let's do that. Let's take one off.
So, Adrian, you're going to be in the shot there.
I know. You're hired.
I'm almost out of battery on this camera, Mike. Let me see. Oh, that's plenty water. Plenty, plenty, plenty. So let's turn the car towards me, towards me a bit. And let's get some batteries ready. Wow. Look how cool she is. So the emotions are the same as this morning. So you're languid and disheveled, so you don't really pose here. You can maybe sit down even and then try to stand up, and I'll shoot you as you sort of try to climb out.
Down in this.
Yeah,
That's safe.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't lean on the door though.
What do you think?
That's
Half
cool.
in, half out.
Yeah.
How about hunched over the steering wheel, like she hit
do
her
I-
head or something?
Do I even see her then, or do we give it?
I don't know. I mean,
That's beautiful, huh?
dramatic.
Wow. Let me see. Let me see your face though. Let me see if you're. Wow.
Toss your hair back.
Oh, Dad.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow. Stunning. Wow. I love it. I'll hold it. Yeah. Yeah, we get ready for smoke. Oh, we got to get it underneath the engine. Into the engine. Wow. This is amazing, no? Wow. Step out of the frame, engine. Okay. Remind me about 42 roughly. Wow. I'm really happy. Okay, I got it. 70. Nice. Step, Adrian, step back. Oh, good idea. Great idea. Anamika, it's amazing looking. Even more forward if you can.
I can't see it.
I can see. There you go. Wow. Let me see your face. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, I gotta use a tripod here. Give me a flag on that leg a little bit. Just see if you can shade her leg a bit. Oh no, you're perfect. Your leg. Oh, that's nice too. No, it's okay. Now she'd put it underneath in the shade anyway. Oh, yeah, better. Beautiful. Whew. Wow. More smoke. Let's check my focus for a minute. Do you mind, Adrian? And let me see. Right there, I see reflections. You see? Yeah. Wow, I love this. Beautiful, beautiful. Just move really slow. I'm shooting at 40th of a second. Beautiful. Easy on the smoke. Let the smoke settle. And come back a tiny bit, Mike. I still see the light spills there and stuff. Wow, stunning. Okay. Better. Let me see. One, two. Are these last ones too bright or what? Am I okay?
Yeah, they look great.
Wow. So I'm 20th, huh? 50th. Lovely. Hold it. Nice. Smoke, please. A little bit. That's plenty. Lovely. Look right here. Wow. More smoke. Okay. A lot of the ones moving in, I was unsharp. Wow. You're amazing. More smoke, Mike Byrne. Nice. Maybe a little bit more water if you can. That's plenty. Actually, it's that little gap right there. A little gap right there to the right. You see this dry? There you are. There was a broom here somewhere. You just like being a kid. That's amazing. Hold it. Wow. Hold this. I'm coming in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Yeah. Look out the window. Yeah. Beautiful. Look down. Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's mark this spot right here for me for a minute. Just a quick tape. That's okay, it's not. Let's shift the silk over a bit. Wow. Dead. Where? No, that's plenty. Plenty, plenty. I'm so happy. I just can't stop shooting. Beautiful. Wow. Well, let me see. Bill, is it okay if we splash water on the tire and on the front of the car? Yeah. Just get some water. Just here and then here. Yeah, well, I like that, the dripping. That's good. Oh, like that. Hang out this way. Let's try it. Tilt your head over. Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Yeah. Wow. See if you can lean your shoulder forward so that you come like this. So your head, just come forward this way. Yeah, even more. Yeah, and then tilt your head over. No, it doesn't work that way. Bad idea. See what else can we do? Oh, that's nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow.
What about like leaning all the way back in that chair, like almost straight ahead from the back?
Let's try it. I love it. Yeah. Put your leg up. Let me see. Yeah. Just down on the ledge there. A little bit further. The next one down. Yeah. Tilt your head to the side. Yeah. Just look up from there. Just. Wow. That looks like she's dying. Yeah. All right. Did we got this? Do you want to shoot more? I'll shoot more. Sit up again. Let's lean on the steering wheel again. I'm going to come closer.
Do you want to try to drape her in the cart coming down?
Yeah. Yep. Beautiful. This is cool too. Let me see. Some smoke, please. Yeah. All right, let's try you coming out of the car for a minute. Yeah, do it. Careful leaning on that door. Do we put that cart in front of the car? Is she just laying right there like? Yeah, should we try it? Well, it would be cool if she's laying on that cart as it is now. Yeah, but the cart is right in front of the car, so she's maybe even leaning up against the door right here, like this. How's the energy level?
Okay.
I love it. You're doing perfect though. Thank you.
I'm laying on that.
Sitting, halfway lane. Let me see. I mean, that's going to be in frame, Mike. You got to come in from this side. Give me 15 minutes and then.
15 minutes?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But my energy level's not high peak point, but I can still do it.
You're doing amazing. Oh wow, look at this too. This is nice. Huh. 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 Okay. I want to shoot it here afterwards too. Okay? Anywhere. So you're kind of out of the car. I don't know, whatever you.
Okay.
Do I look sexy? No, whatever you think. Just try it and see where it falls. I think it was best, I bet, this by the steering wheel, wasn't it? Put your head back, just too fashiony. The better? Dirty? It's not as good. Let's try it. Okay, let's look at the smoke in there, Mike.
What?
Yeah. I like it better where it was, a little closer to you with the other leg. The back leg comes closer to you. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. It's nice too. Beautiful. Yeah. Nice. A little bit more despair in your face, maybe. There you go. Beautiful. You're doing so good. I like this a lot. Maybe the other glove is just laying there, Christine. Maybe it's stuck on the window of the car or something. Beautiful. Yeah, or on the window of the car. Just is that too perfect? Maybe it's on the dash or something. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Lovely. Nice. You're amazing. Whew. Beautiful. Soften the left leg a bit. Looks really tense. Just, yeah. Beautiful. Wow. All right, break time for you. Hold it, do that again. Okay, don't move. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, 2-minute break. We're going to set up right here. Thank you. So all that we have done here, I've shot with the mind of having this across the river on the other bank, and that perspective falling down slightly off center like we have. And then I walked to the side and I thought the car looked amazing straight from the side, and I thought, oh, how can I make that happen? The way we make that happen is to actually flop the car so it doesn't sit on the bank across the river, but it sits on the bank right next to you. Suddenly I have a perspective traveling that way and I can see the car straight from the side coming down. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the car, then in post I flop it and put it on this side, and then suddenly the perspectives work shooting it straight on like this. So something I just saw and I wanted to explore it, and I thought, how can I make that happen? Think about the background plate and how we can make it work. Flop it as the answer, put her in, another option. You ready? Mm-hmm. Last picture for you. 5-10 minutes and we're done. Yeah, look at that.
Back inside the car or the car?
Where am I going?
So now I could have you sitting on the seat, and you could either fall forward or you could fall backward, but I love to have your, just legs out, and then you can fall this way or that way. You could do it.
What is she doing now?
There's just no sitting there.
Is that safe?
Yeah, we can put this up there, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. I love it. Are you okay with the dress? Did we buy that dress?
Not yet.
We could pull this up. It's good.
Whatever you want. I can do it either way.
No, but this is fine because I can make this vegetation anyway. So it's kind of good actually for me to have it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe have her like leaning back a little, like she's
Yeah.
half in, half out of the car.
Yeah.
Maybe even
So maybe one leg inside and one out? Yeah.
because you're shooting.
That's
from-
nice, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But then bring that leg up onto the.
Yeah. And put your shoulder back again. Yeah. Like that. So, Mike, help me out here for a minute. I'm just going to wheel the cart away because it's covering the cart. So lift your leg up for a minute. Okay, nice. Wow. Turn it towards me for a minute. Do you like that? And then just roll it this way. Yeah. It's not as good as through the window. Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. So cool. That's beautiful. Bend your left hand a bit. Just bend the elbow. Bring it up. Bring the hand up. Yeah. Wow. I love this. Oh, can we change this? Oh, love, beautiful. Can we change an outfit? Because then I can have another perspective here.
What do you want?
Really quick, 2 minutes. Whatever you have.
Like a slip or something?
Sure. Yes. Red. Real quick. Beautiful. Wow. Push your head back a bit. Yeah, lovely. Too modelly. Just think about the emotions and just let your hair fall like you want it. Yeah, maybe forward. Let's see what happens if you, yeah, beautiful. Put your hand or your head on your hand. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Bend the elbow. Yeah. Stunning. Beautiful. Wow, that's nice. Chin up, beautiful. Lean back. Let the elbow come back too. Lovely. Smoke, please. Right. A little dark there, I don't know. A little too much smoke. Yeah. So cool. I love this. Little smoke. Yeah. Lean back again. Lovely. Head forward, just lift it up a bit. Beautiful. Soften the back, just hunch over. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Look up this way. Yeah. That's beautiful. Hold it. Nice. I'm going to do this Full frame. Still a little dark, huh? I think we're done. Beautiful. Hold it. Go back again. Right there. Hang tight. Soften the ice a bit. Nice. Look down. Soften the ice. Open them slowly. Intention in the face. Just a little bit in the lips there. Beautiful. All right. I think we're done. Amazing. And you know what? To be honest, I should have a backplate without the bushes on it, you know? So maybe camera left a little bit. That's good, that's good, that's good. This is so fun. Okay, let's move the back plants out of the frame. Get a clean back end of the car.
Front end too?
No, that can, yeah, we might as well, right, since we're at it. Take everything away. So, okay, we're gonna shoot this. I don't really need haste for this. It's a clean plate, so one. All right, I think we're done and done. So we're just about to wrap up a 12-hour day, and creatively it's been an extraordinary one for me. I feel really good about it. Even though we haven't put the parts and pieces together, it feels really, really good. Came into it not quite knowing where this would go, but we had a model that really managed to emote part of the story that I wanted to convey. We had a stylist that got some really beautiful clothes, one that we could mess up and put in the water, another one that had this beautiful color that matched with the interior of the car, the background. So creatively for me, it's just been an extraordinary day. What was supposed to be one composite piece with two options, one in the water and one coming out of the car, ended up being a couple of portraits, a couple of different angles and outfits. So it expanded from that one story for me into 2-3 different snippets of her journey almost. So I'm really excited about that. Now it's just to go home really and sit down with all the parts and pieces. There's some options for the background, which we talked about. Find what those are and build just a beautiful background. And then you have two options for the car. I talked about this briefly. You have the front one that would come across on this side of the river, and then the side view that would be on this side of the river. So there's a lot of options there to work with. The creative process is, you know, being prepared and coming in here and responding to what I see, which I felt I did today, but also in post, making all the information that I have from today come together in one singular image. I shot a lot of frames today, probably a few thousand, and that's not unnormal for me to shoot that many frames. The guy that I assisted, he used to say it's all in the numbers, meaning that you can't just show up and take one picture and think that's going to be a good one. It's actually in the volume of pictures that you take, because you're going to come upon these small little moments where everything coincides. I had a few pictures here today that had a little camera shake, and at the same time the model is glancing over and had this really cinematic feel to the picture. So there's small little moments like that that happens if you're continually watching and continually shooting. And I think that was part of the process today, responding to what I saw and letting the model do her thing and me just being there, observing that. So we started with the story piece, as I mentioned, accomplished that, but also that much more. And that's in the volume of these pictures. I think the hardest part today, which I would have maybe loved to have more time on, is not allowing myself maybe an hour or two to sit down with the background plate and really composite that and get that to a place where I was really, really happy. Now I just looked through the images really quickly, smacked something together, laid it in there once without really exploring it and laying in the shadows to really make sure it sat there. We have so many options here though. There's no way that I'm going to mess this up. It's so beautiful. So I feel really confident about the process, but if there was one thing about today that I would do differently, it's to give myself more time to put together that background piece. For any commercial assignment, I will shoot the background piece on one day, have at least half a day or a down day for me to do the composite, and then do the foreground piece that's going to go into that backplate. So today was a little quicker than normal, but that's just nitpicking. I had an extraordinary day with a lot of good pictures, so overall just amazing for me.